And 1 is where we're going to be, excuse me, areas of parallelograms and triangles. So it's kind of just a review because I'm assuming you've done areas of triangles and rectangles before, and so we're just adding into it parallelograms. The area formula for a rectangle is just base times height, or you may have known it like length times width, which is the same. Parallelogram is the same deal. I'm still going to do base times height, but my height comes from the altitude. So let's practice a couple where you have to find the area of a parallelogram. So here's my first one. This is a parallelogram, so I'm going to do my base times my height. My base would be this bottom number here, which would be 5. My height would be the altitude from the vertex to the opposite side, so 4 would be my height. So I would times 5 times 4 and get 20, and then put a label of inches squared since we're doing area. So let's take a look at B. Again, I have a parallelogram, so I would do base times height. My base would be this bottom number, acting as my length, if you will. My height is from the vertex to the opposite side, so that would be this number out here. So I would do 2 times 3.5, which is 7, and then I would add my label, centimeters squared. So the only thing I think you might get tricked up on is just making sure you have the correct number for the base, which is always going to be that bottom number, and then your height should always be from the vertex to the opposite side. See if you can find the area in the got it question. So in the got it question, you're finding the area of a parallelogram, so you should be timesing the base times the height, so 12 times 9, and you would get 108, and again make sure you put on a label, so meters squared. Okay, now we're going to switch gears. So now we're going to find the area of a triangle. Area formula for a triangle is 1/2 times base times height. So in this first example, they give you a triangle with 5 inches, 1 feet, 1 feet, 1 inches. This hypotenuse won't play a part in me finding the area. So this would be my base down here, because it's the bottom length. The height would be from the vertex to the opposite side, so it would be 5. Now notice that these are not in the same unit, so I would need to convert one of them, and I just converted this one since it would be easier. 1 feet or 1 foot would be 12 inches. So now looking at my formula, I'm going to do 1/2 times base times height. So I'm going to do 1/2 times my base, which is 12, and my height, which is 5. So then I would just plug those into my calculator, and you should be getting 30. And then put on my label, so I get inches squared. See if you can find the area of the triangle in the next question. So in the next question, pretty straightforward. They give me my base, they gave me my height, they're both in the same unit, so I can just plug them into my formula. So I would do 1/2 times 16, which is my base, times 12, which is my height, times all of those together, and you should be getting 96 centimeters squared. Folks, this first lesson is not too bad, just finding the area of a parallelogram and a triangle.